so that I can.
Mataji, shall I recite, Mataji?
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Yeah.
Dharma projito kaitava atra paramo nirmat saranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Para Ishvara Sadhyo Hridaya Avarudyate Atra Kritibi Sushru Subish Tatshanat. Third verse. Is anybody reciting or shall I continue, Mataji? Yeah, I'll recite.
Continue, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Nigamo kalpataror galitam phalam sukhamukad amrita dravam rasamalayam pibata bhagavatam rasam. I'm sorry, I'll start again. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam sukhamukad amrita drava samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukah. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Girdhari Prabhu, tomorrow you have taken the seva to recite all the three.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, over to you now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. We make our invocation prayers. Hare Krishna to each one. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you all for joining in for the today's session, and today we are going to begin our chapter number 6, a fresh chapter, but it is again in continuation with what we have been doing. What was the name of the previous chapter? What were we doing in that? Anybody can recall?
Narada's instructions.
Yes, Narada's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam to Vyasadeva.
Yes. Yes, Mataji. Very good. So we continue that further today again. Now, Suta Goswami is speaking. Who would like to recite this verse?
May I, Mataji?
Yes, please, Mataji. Please continue, Mataji. Hi, Krishna.
Sorry, Mataji, it was unmuted.
Okay.
Suta uvaच एवं निशम्य भगवान् देवर्षैर्जन्म कर्म च भूय प्रपच्छ तं ब्रह्मन् व्यासः सत्यवती सुतः.
Translation and purpose are small. Yeah, both you can read, Mataji. Both are very small. Yeah.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Suta said, O Brahmanas, thus hearing all about Sri Narada's birth and activities, Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God and son of Satyavati, inquired as follows. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. Vyasadeva was further inquisitive to know about the perfection of Naradaji, and therefore he wanted to know about him more and more. In this chapter, Naradaji will describe how he was able to have a brief audience with the Lord while he was absorbed in the transcendental thought of separation from the Lord, and when it was very painful for him.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So, yeah, thank you so much, Mataji, for reading it out for us. So here, Sutta Uvacha. So Sutta Goswami is speaking to whom?
Shavanagadi Rishi.
Yes, perfect. So again, he is discussing about this conversation which is happening between Srila Narada and Vedavyas. So here we can see in this shloka itself, it is written, two terms are there. One is given Bhagavan and one is given Satyavati Sutta. So these are describing Srila Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa is asking questions. He is inquiring from whom? May I know that? Whom is he inquiring from?
Narada Muni.
Narada Maharshi.
Narada Rishi.
Yes. And who is Narada basically? Narada is his guru, spiritual master, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Right?
Yes, Mataji.
So here we are seeing Vedavyasa's position also. Bhagavan is mentioned. He is empowered incarnation of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, right? Secondly, his lineage is mentioned. Satyavati Sutta, he is son of Parashar Muni. Thirdly, we see Vyasadeva is so highly learned that he has compiled all the Vedas and he has given us scriptures, right? Now, this personality like Vedavyasa, he is showing us that even though he is so highly learned, he has all these, whatever I mentioned now, good lineage, qualified, highly learned, he's an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, yet what is highlighted is the role and the importance of the guru. He is questioning to his spiritual master. So this is to be understood very well, that even Vedavyas, personality like Vedavyas is showing us that the significance of guru, and we definitely need a spiritual master because he can enlighten us, and there could be many a times we are at crossroads and we need a spiritual master to guide. So here he is putting his questions before Naradaji. And another thing that is important in this word is the word papracha. He's asking, he's inquiring. This inquisitiveness in a disciple is so healthy. In Bhagavad Gita also, I think Sindhu Mataji or any other also, y'all are all very learning Bhagavad Gita also so wonderfully. So there is a verse which says that we should be inquiring from the Guru, right? Which is that verse?
Tadvidhi pranipadena.
Yes.
तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनः तत्त्वदर्शिनः.
तो उधर दिया है परिप्रश्नेन, इधर लिखा है पप्रच्छ. So we
Yes.
have to inquire, right? To get enlightenment, we have to inquire from the Guru. And how has the inquiry to be? It has to be really connected with the subject matter. It has to be based upon how I can be getting a solution for freeing myself from the material existence, not just any irrelevant question. One time Srila Prabhupada this is early days when he was abroad, and he was mentioning in the class that a guru knows everything. Immediately one of his disciples, this is very early days, she asked him, "So Prabhupada, kindly let me know how many windows are there in New Empire State Building." New Empire State Building is a very big building in New York. So what was the reply of Prabhupada? He replied to her, firstly, it was an unintelligent inquiry, and his reply was, "How many drops of water in a mirage?" Do you all understand what mirage is? Right? Mirage is something that is an illusion. There is no water there. Just by the rays of the sun on the desert, you get a feeling that there is a water body there. So that's called mirage. Mrig Trishna in Hindi it is called, right? So Prabhupada tried to explain in simple way for that inappropriate question. He gave them an answer that these are all meaningless things which carry no weightage. The disciples' inquiry should be related to the absolute truth. So this is what we learned, and now we will go on the next verse and we see what further it says. Verse number 2. Anybody can read this verse for us?
I'll read, Mataji.
Yes, please. One of you can read.
Vyasavacha. Hare Krishna. Pranams, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vyasavacha. Vikshubhir vipravashite विज्ञानादेस्त्रिभिस्तव वर्तमानो वयसि आधे ततः किम् अकरोत् भवान्. Translation by Divine. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, please carry on, Mataji.
Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Vyasdeva said, "What did you, Narada, do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you in scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth?"
Purport as well, Mataji, very small, yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Purport is Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vyasdeva himself was a disciple of Naradji, and therefore it was natural to be anxious to hear what Narada did after initiation from the spiritual masters. He wanted to follow in Narada's footsteps in order to attain to the same perfect stage of life. This desire to inquire from the spiritual master is an essential factor in the progressive path. This process is technically known as Tat Dharma Pracha.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, so here we'll try to understand in this second verse. Now Vyasa is inquiring, as we saw in the first verse, and now what is he asking? He's saying, here it is clearly mentioned, he is the disciple of Narada, and he is wanting to know what happened further. So here we see not only we need to inquire from your teacher about the absolute truth, but even inquiries related to your spiritual master or the guru or a Bhagavata, a Paramhamsa. That questions related to that also is very healthy for a disciple. Just as today in ISKCON, if we only indulge in studying Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, the scriptures, that's good enough. But for as disciples, as part and parcel of ISKCON, we must read Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita. Why is so much importance given there? Because Srila Prabhupada is from the spiritual world. He came to give us all these scriptures, and we need to definitely know about his life. We need to understand about. So definitely we must read Leelamrit. Then there should be many, even all the acharyas down in the line, their glories we should hear and read. We can read about our respective spiritual masters. You know, there are various books available of each disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Like, for example, Bhakti Charu Maharaj's book is The Ocean of Mercy, Journey Within book of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, then Legacy of Love of Hiladini Devi Dasi Mataji. So all these disciples of Prabhupada, biographies are given in the form of these books. And when we read them, what do we know in that? The gurus, the teachers, the spiritual masters have mercifully given us knowledge about how they serve Srila Prabhupada. What was their life before coming to ISKCON? How was their journey? What difficulties or maybe some struggles they encountered while on this journey? What were sometimes they are so humble, you know, they even sometimes express the mistakes they made. This is with the mood that the disciple who will read these books will learn from those mistakes, and it makes the journey of that sadhaka also simpler. So here in this verse, it was mentioned about that. And also it is mentioned, Vyasadeva is inquiring, after Narada, after you got initiated by those sages, what did you do? So what do we understand about the process of initiation? Any one of you can share? What is initiation? The Bhakti Vedantists, they initiated Narada, who was a small 5-year-old boy. What is our understanding of initiation? Anybody? Sudha Mataji wants to say something. Her hand is raised up.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. I just raised to read the next one.
Okay. But any
So
inputs on
initiation? Yeah, initiation could mean to follow the footsteps of your spiritual master or your guru.
Okay. That's
Mataji
right.
establishes connection to the Guru Parampara, Mataji.
Yes. What you said is
Mataji, surrendering to Guru, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. So you all are correct. So now in the starting, I mentioned that we have to read about all these acharyas, about our spiritual master, whatever books are there available. What is the reason? Because we want to follow the footsteps of all these great acharyas. Not imitate them, but yes, definitely if it helps in our journey, we follow the footsteps so that our journey is simpler, easier, and we are guided by the spiritual authority. So that's why the following in the footsteps is very essential. In Sri Sampradaya, there is this, I'll come to the topic of initiation. In Sri Sampradaya, there is this teacher, Yamunacharya. I don't know how many of you have heard about him. In Srirangam, when he was ready to depart from this material world and go to the spiritual world, all his disciples had gathered around him. And he was giving his final instructions to them. And he did ask them that if you have any questions, you can ask me. One of the disciple, Mahapuna, he's just humbly requests his guru, please give us the essence of all the instructions and all the conclusions of the Shastras in just one line. You know what, at that point of time, Yamunacharya mentioned, Yamunacharya ji says that the essence in one line is Mahajano yena gatasa pantha. Follow in the footsteps of the great devotees. So this is what we are supposed to do. We are not supposed to concoct or do what our mind wishes, because our mind is not purified. Our intelligence is also not purified. So we are supposed to follow those personalities who have already walked that path, and you are supposed to follow them, the Mahajans. So this story tells us that this is how we should be. In essence, if we follow them, definitely they have obtained the success. Our success is guaranteed if we follow them as it is. Yeah, we were talking about the initiation, that Narada had been initiated by those Bhakti Vedantas. So initiation, basically when we go for a satsang program or we go to a ISKCON temple, there are people who are only one-timers. They may come once. Maybe they will not come back again. They don't like, I don't know, whatever the reason. Or there may be some who just come for festivals. Or there may be just who don't attend any classes. They're just prasadam lovers. But there are those bunch who want to really make serious commitment. Initiation is nothing but a serious commitment. It's a serious business. You take vows in front of the Vaishnavas, in front of your guru, that you are going to be committed on this path. You are going to follow the regulative principles. You are going to follow every instruction and order of your spiritual master. You abide by every instruction. You take those vows. When do we take vows? See, just in a wedding, we take vows because that's a serious business. It's a lifetime commitment. Similarly, this initiation is a lifetime commitment for making Krishna the goal of your life. So this is how it is. And Narada has been initiated by those sages. So obviously now Vedavyas is asking, after initiation, what did you do? So it's basically a journey. When we get initiated, it doesn't mean we put on airs that, oh, I am initiated. With the initiated, you get a fresh name, your spiritual identity. But always Prabhupada told us to focus only on the last portion of the name, Dasi. Devi, Dasi for women and Das for the men. That is your original constitutional position, that you are a Das. So this is one thing. And we have Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj, disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He says, initiation is the beginning. It's just now you have taken your first step. It's just the beginning of being serious in the spiritual life. From where to where? He's telling it is a journey from Krishna also to just Krishna. I hope you all understood. Now when I take initiation, I say Krishna is part of my life now. I have added Krishna in my life. Krishna also. But where the journey ends, where does this journey lead me to? It leads me to finally one stage that comes just Krishna. Only Krishna. Nothing except Krishna. So there's a lot of, it's a big, this thing, transformation basically. So we just saw this, we understood initiation thing. We understood why the questions related to spiritual masters also is asking. Vedavyas is trying to inquire about the activities of his guru, that is Narada. So we understood because he wants to follow in the footsteps of his guru. Just take a crude example. If a child is a cricket lover, that child, what will he do? He wants to become a big batsman in future. What will he do? He will start looking for the books in which details of Sachin Tendulkar probably are given. Which age he started practicing cricket, how many hours he would practice cricket, how many centuries has he hit, did he finish his schooling, what is his academic qualification. Many things he wants to learn by reading, hearing, and because he wants to follow his footsteps. So this is how it is said that in this verse. Now we're going to the third verse. Screen. Sorry for being a little slow with all this. Okay, who's going to read it?
May I, Mataji?
Yeah, please carry on, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Swayam bhuva kaya vritya vartitam te param vayaha katham chedam udashrakshihi kale prapte kalevaram. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O son of Brahma, how did you pass your life after initiation and how did you attain this body, having quit your old one in due course? Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Narad Muni in his previous life was just an ordinary maid servant's son. So how he became so perfectly transformed into the spiritual body of eternal life, bliss and knowledge is certainly important. Sri Vyasadeva desired him to disclose the facts for everyone's satisfaction. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Yeah. So here we see is in the third verses, the inquiry continues. I said in the previous verse that Narada was initiated by those sages. But here he is trying to ask him, after initiation, how did he actually make practical application of all those teachings and how did he acquire the spiritual body? So the sages imparted him so much transcendental knowledge, but that he had to apply in life. So by practically applying that knowledge, how did he get a spiritual body? That is the inquiry of Vyasadeva. And a disciple will ask many questions. We see even in Ramayana, Lord Ram and Lakshman are inquiring from Vishwamitra as well. They are asking him, how did you acquire this knowledge of Astra Shastra? Vishwamitra is giving them the elaborate answer, how he acquired. He has been so generous and he's been so liberal and kind upon them. It shows the level of authenticity and level of transparency between a guru and disciple, where he even in Ramayana explains to them that how he got trapped in the with Menaka and Ramba, these apsaras, how he got trapped in that. So the mood of the guru is that the disciple should learn from his mistakes. That is the humility of the guru, basically, that he even goes to that extent where he is explaining even the mistakes that he made, So we can see even Prahlad Maharaj was being asked by his schoolmates, when Shandam, Amarka are not around, Prahlad would take the opportunity to impart all the knowledge that he had understood in the womb of his mother from Srila Narada Muni. That time even these children would ask him, Shanda and Amarka are our teachers. They never explained and they taught us all these things. Where did you get all this knowledge from? So these questions are very commonly being asked. Prahlad acted like a guru for them and these schoolmates were his simple disciples. Further, in 7th canto, this very Narada is even explaining to Yudhishthir Maharaj that how initially, prior to being even made a servant, what was his birth. There he explains that he was a Gandharva by the name Upabharana. As a Gandharva, now he has a position, he has a good, beautiful looks, he has every opulence, he has everything. I mean, he's at an elevated position. He had many female friends. And when he was called for Prajapatis called him for Gandharvas are good singers basically. The Prajapatis had called him for some Hari Kirtan. But due to ignorance and due to being influenced by those female friends, he ended up singing some mundane songs. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, he ends up singing Bollywood songs. Means Prabhupada tried to say that whatever is, if it is not Hari Kirtan, whatever is mundane means we are indulging in all these things. And this disturbed Prajapatis. They were not happy. They were displeased by this act of Gandharva Upabharana. So they cursed him. They told him, you become a Shudra on this planet Earth. That's how he becomes the son of this maid servant. So this, he's explaining, even when he's telling to Yudhishthira Maharaj, he's explaining his mistake. Yeah, what he did as a Gandharva, instead of glorifying Lord, he ended up speaking something mundane. So all these characters are just showing that. So through these, now Vyasadeva is inquiring that how he practically applied it. So basically, it is a journey of Narada, journey to perfection. If we look at this small 5-year-old boy, what does he have? He doesn't have a good parentage. He doesn't have any qualifications. He has no high learning. Absolutely now, from Upabharana level, he's come down to that level where he materially is absolutely on a zero platform. It's just a very ordinary boy of a very ordinary lady, a maid who's washing pots and washing clothes. But in that life, when he got the association of person Bhagavat, these personalities who came in the Chaturmasya and they were reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, he very, very eagerly, he very, very attentively, he took a lot of interest and he was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And he was serving these saintly personalities also. And as a result, they initiated him, they imparted him all the knowledge, he took their remnants, and that's after that they left. So it just shows his journey of transformation, a journey to perfection basically. In that very one lifetime, Narada, though he was a 5-year-old boy, he has put all the teachings into practice and he's attained perfection in that very one life. Because at the end of that life, next life, he becomes Narada, the transcendental spaceman. That transcendental spaceman who can go to Golokadam, he can go to Vaikuntha, he can visit Kailash, he can come on Earth planet, he can go to lower planetary systems. Anywhere unrestrictedly he can visit because now he has a spiritual body. So what perfection he attained in one life, just by 4 months of Chaturmasya, in that whatever activities he did. So the two primary on the power of two things he could attain perfection. Can anybody tell what are those two things that transformed his life?
Serving the sages
Prasadam.
And eating
and taking
prasad.
remuneration.
Remnants.
Eating the remnants, Mataji. Remnants
Yeah.
of the sadhus.
So the
Remnants
two
of
things
Acharya.
that helped him to become so perfect is, one is Srimad Bhagavatam, second is association of the devotees. These are two things even available to all of us, right? Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever the sages were speaking was from Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam book and Bhagavat person Bhagavat. These sages were very enlightened Vedantis and they were person Bhagavat. So association of the devotees, in that association, when he very, very sincerely took up the oral reception of Srimad Bhagavatam, he attained perfection. That is what is important in this. He took the remnants, but his sins were eradicated, okay, by taking those remnants. But what was the biggest power? Power of Srimad Bhagavatam, power of association of all those saintly people. Next thing, he was very fixed on his goal. We also hear Bhagavatam, all of us. We also have devotee association, but from Narada's story for us to learn is how fixed he was. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekahe kuru nandana. He was not diverted from his goal. We will further, other speakers will also elaborate on that because the story will continue. So I have to just take up to verse number 8. So as much as if we don't have clarity on our goal, what will happen? We will sometimes go left, we will go right. Burijan Prabhu is there, Srila Prabhupada disciple. He says, when we are not clear of our goal, kabhi left, kabhi right, left, right, and finally we are left here only, which is not right. We still punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. We not freed from this material existence. So that is why, like Narada, the goal was so fixed and he just didn't want to divert himself absolutely from the goal. We'll go now to, and what happens? This is actually, basically, if you see from this story, this is a story of we all seekers. You all agree or don't agree? We all sadhakas,
Mataji, we are
Yes,
seeking.
Mataji. We have to admit it. Yes.
we all are in that situation or no? We are having very normal life. We are nobody very elevated. We have no qualifications. We also have Srimad Bhagavatam available to us. We have devotee association available to us. It is a journey of a sadhaka, basically, if we contemplate deeply upon it. What is this journey? When we take up a journey, we know the start point and we know what is the destination. That a person who takes up the journey has to be clear about. So where are we starting the journey from? Where are we at condition stage currently? Where are we? What is the stage? The journey is from what we think we are to what we actually are. You know, currently what we are thinking we are, as per Bhagavad Gita, Ishwaro aham bhogi, balwan aham siddho, balwan sukhi. So this is what Bhagavad Gita chapter 16 says. What in condition state, what are we thinking? Ishwaro I am controller, I am enjoyer, aham bhogi. Siddho aham, I am perfect. Balwan, I am powerful. And Sukhi, I in illusion, in ignorance, I am thinking I am Sukhi, all is good. I am very happy. So this is currently our position where we are beginning the journey, but where the journey will culminate, where it will end, to what we actually are. What are we actually? The soul, Gopi, Bhartur, Padakamalayur, Das, Das, Dasanu, Das. So this journey is actually taking us from Ishwaro Aham Aham Bhogi to Gopi, Bhartur, Padakamalayur, Das, Das, Dasanu, Das. So this is actually, if we read, when we are reading these chapters of the stories of Narada Muni, we should understand that it's a journey of each seeker who's trying to attain perfection like Narada. But what is distracting us? We can learn so many lessons from his story, that how we have to be fixed on our goal. Many things we will see further also in the. So we're going now to the verse number 4. It's a very interesting portion of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, 1 minute. Let me display it. Yeah, sure, Prabhuji, you can read. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Pranams, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Prakalpa विषयामेतां श्रुतिन्ते मुनिसत्तमा न येष व्यवदात् काला येष सर्वा निराकृतिः. Anyone wants to read translation purport? Let them, Mataji.
Prabhuji, you continue. It's just very small.
Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. O great sage, time annihilates everything in due course. So how is it that this subject matter, which happened prior to this day of Brahma, is still fresh in your memory and undisturbed by time? Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. As spirit is not annihilated even after the annihilation of the material body, so also spiritual consciousness is not annihilated. Sri Narada developed this spiritual consciousness even when he had his material body in the previous kalpa. Consciousness of the material body means spiritual consciousness expressed through the medium of a material body. This consciousness is inferior, destructible, and perverted. But super consciousness of the supermind in the spiritual plane is as good as the spirit soul and is never annihilated. Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranams Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah, so here we see Ved Vyasa is quite surprised because this happened in the previous kalpa, previous day of Brahma. So how, if you ask us, each other, if we ask what happened yesterday at this time, what were we doing yesterday, or a week ago, what were we doing at this particular time of the day, we cannot recall things. Now he's surprised how Narada recalls his previous births as a maid servant, and this was the previous day of Brahma. And any one of us who can tell me how big is the duration of the day of Brahma? What is one kalpa? We have studied in Bhagavad Gita, right? 8th chapter. So how long is this day? For material calculation, it is millions of years actually, So Brahma's one day has 14 manus, 14 manvantaras. And one manvantara will be how much, 71 times total of the 4 yugas. Imagine how big it is. Just one manvantara. Like that, 14 manvantaras complete like that one day of Brahma. So this is in the previous day of Brahma. Narada Muni was a maid servant. So he recalls all this story and he's telling all this to Vedavyasa ji. So now Vedavyasa has this confusion. So now let us focus on the purport. Spirit is not annihilated even after annihilation of material body. We studied or not this in Bhagavad Gita? Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Many verses are there which tell the body is destructible, but the spirit is not annihilated. So now the consciousness, so also is the spiritual consciousness not annihilated. Let us understand in very simple words, body is dead matter, right? You all agree with that? Body is dead matter. But we see body
Yes, Mataji.
body is walking, talking, thinking, doing all this. How is it? How is it?
By,
You all
by the
are
influence, by the influence of super soul.
Soul.
soul. Yes, the consciousness. So the consciousness is present. So because of that consciousness, this dead matter, which is something, the body is asat, achit, niranand, this body is doing all these activities. Basically, it is dead, but because of the presence of this consciousness, all this is happening. So here Prabhupada writes in this purport, consciousness of material body means a spiritual consciousness expressed through the medium of material body. Let us understand what Prabhupada is trying to write here. Consciousness of material body means spiritual consciousness. So consciousness is not material. That also you all agree? Soul, super soul, Sachidanand, right?
Yes,
It is not
yes.
material.
Yes,
Only
yes,
the body is
Yes,
material.
Mataji.
Okay. So let us take this current example. Right now we are sitting on this Zoom meeting, right? So this Zoom is a software application, right? And I have this laptop which is compared to a hardware, right? This laptop has no body, there's no life. It's like this body, our body is a matter. This laptop is also, but the software Zoom application, when it is running currently, I can see you all can see me, correct or no?
Yes,
But
yes.
this
Mataji.
Zoom application, which is a software, this is manifested on the screen, correct or no? Zoom application,
yes,
how is
Mataji.
it manifesting? Software is manifesting on the screen, and screen is something which is hardware, right? The
Yes,
same
Mataji.
Srila Prabhupada is writing here, consciousness of material body means spiritual consciousness expressed through the medium of material body. So the Zoom app, which is a software, is manifested through the medium of this hardware of this computer, screen, right?
Yes,
So this is how we can see. And even here it is mentioned that Narada, even when he was in his material body as a son of the maid servant, he had totally spiritual consciousness. So that's why he's able to recall. He's on that level where he was not identifying himself with the body. He was on that spiritual consciousness. We see King Bharat in Srimad Bhagavatam, that story who was on the Bhava stage and he becomes a deer because his last thoughts were about deer. So but as a deer, as a Jad Bharat, he remembered or no his past lives. because he was not on material consciousness. His consciousness was already spiritual. That's the reason he is able to recall and remember his previous births. So I hope it is clear now. Can we go on the fifth? Any doubts currently on this?
No, Mataji.
Okay. So we will go
Mataji,
to the... Yeah, Mataji.
Mataji,
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Now,
Yeah.
nowadays also, some people, there are some children who remember their previous birth. Is that because of their spiritual consciousness?
No, that is called, that's not because of the spiritual consciousness. There are many people who are only talking about the material things, right? It's not about the,
Okay.
no, it's not about that. That's reincarnation. Sometimes those impressions are so deep on your mind that you are able to remember also of your past births. It's only that, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. So we'll go on the verse number 5, which is a very nice and beautiful verse. Yeah. Who's going to read it? One of you, please.
Mataji, shall I recite, Mataji?
Yes, please, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Narada Uvacha Bhikshubhirvipravasite Vijnanadeshtribhirmama Vartamano Vayasyadya Tata Etad Akarasham. Sorry, Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Narada said, the great sages who had imparted scientific knowledge of transcendence to me departed for other places, and I had to pass my life in this way. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In his previous life, when Narada ji was impregnated with spiritual knowledge by the grace of the great sages, there was a tangible change in his life, although he was only a boy of 5 years. That is an important symptom visible after initiation by the bona fide spiritual master. Actual association of devotees brings about a quick change in life for spiritual realization. How it is so acted upon the previous life of Sri Narada Muni is described by and by in this chapter. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. So in this verse, something very important, the first line of the purport spoke about the tangible change. If the initiation is by a bona fide spiritual master, then it will, the tangible changes will be visible. So let us understand through some examples from the scriptures again. How many of you know the story of Mrigari, the hunter? Okay, just a briefing I will give. This Mrigari, a hunter who also had Narada only as a spiritual master. So he would derive some strange pleasure by killing the animals half, let them struggle. And, he would love to see them half dead like that. If he had to kill them, he could kill them with his arrow in one shot. No, but he had a very unique, pleasure he would derive by making them half dead. And like that, one time when Narada was passing and he saw all these animals half dead and suffering and, moaning in pain. That's when Narada imparts him this knowledge. He tells him to break his bow. He makes him understand that what kind of sinful reactions he is going to get for all the sins that he's incurring, of which he's oblivious currently. So that's when because the knowledge came from the lips of a pure devotee like Narada, this knowledge entered his heart and he just does that. And Narada tells him to just sing the glories of the Lord, just chant the holy names of the Lord. That is enough to purify him, and which he did. And what was a tangible change that people around, even his guru, Narada, could see one time after many months when Narada came. He came to see how his disciple is doing. I instructed him, let me see what changes have come in him. Now, when this Mrigari sees Narada coming from far in the forest, he's coming running to meet his guru and offer obeisances to him. But you know how he's running? He's going zigzag and he's looking down. Now, he was so careful not to even stamp on one ant. So if there are any small ants or insects down, that's why he was going zigzag, because he was not wanting to stamp upon them and kill them. Now see what a drastic transformation. The man who was such a cruel hunter, who wanted to leave the animals half dead, now he doesn't even want to kill a small ant by mistake also. So this is called tangible change. We also understand from Valmiki ji, who was he in the previous previous to becoming Valmiki, what was he? What was his profession? What was he doing? What was his life?
Ratnakar Mataji. He was also
He was
Yes.
an
a
hunter.
Yeah, he was a dacoit. Khali, he knew one word, mara, 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 mara. I killed, I killed, I killed. He was killing people mercilessly. That's when again Narada comes. A spiritual master has so much compassion. He can't see the soul suffering. And all these people, Bragari, this Ratnakar, Daku, they are in ignorance. But when he enlightened them, they realized, no, I will be responsible for all these sinful activities. So that's when he also gave him the Ram Nam. Though he was so sinful, he couldn't even chant it properly. Mara, 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 bol, bol ke finally, still he got cleansed and he got purified. And we could see Valmiki ji, from Ratnagar to Valmiki, this is called tangible change. Prahlad Maharaj, he got the knowledge from Srila Narada Muni when he was in the womb of his mother Kayadu. Where does Prahlad belong to? He belongs to a Daitya Kula. So Daityas have naturally all those cruel, habits and this in their behavior. But this Prahlad is born a natural devotee. He's constantly remembering the Lord. So this is what we can see, that when you get that knowledge from a bona fide spiritual master, that tangible change will come, and this transformation of consciousness happens when we are very serious, sincere after our initiation. We take that knowledge to heart and we really apply it. So that's when the transformation happens, purification happens. So again, what happens? From kama, it comes to prema. Kama means what? Satisfying my own desires. How can I gratify my senses? That is one stage where we are currently today, conditioned souls. The entire focus on self, when we are actually applying the knowledge, the focus shifts to lotus feet of Krishna. Currently, who is in the center? We put ourselves in the center. I like this. I want to do that like this. Everything is I, me, mine. We are in the center. But when the transformations happen, what examples we saw, I is moved away and Krishna is coming in the center of the light. So this is what is called transformation. When I is in the center, that is called kama. When Krishna is in the center, that is the prema. In material world, that prema becomes perverted and it becomes kama, lust. Prahlad Maharaj in one of the verses says, Adanta Gobir Vishatam Tamishram. What does it mean, Adanta Gobir? Because of uncontrolled senses. Adanta, uncontrolled, Gobir means senses. Adanta Gobir Vishatam. Vishatam means where am I heading? Because of my uncontrolled senses. Tamishram. There are all these hells, which is names are given in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 5th canto. So Tamishram, Tamishra, all these are the names of the hells. So from hellish condition of life, where we reach where the center of our life becomes the Lord, Supreme Lord. So that much transformation, that is called journey within. Within, why? Because there's a transformation in the consciousness. That's why it is very important. And this was speaking about tangible change. Further, in that very purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, association of the devotees brings a quick change in a person. What do you mean by association of devotees? Me meeting every day a devotee, just saying Hare Krishna, and after that talking anything under the sun? What does it mean? How do we understand this?
Mataji, Machitta Matkata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam
Fantastic.
Katayanta.
Mataji, you are full, you know all the verses and you can connect them well. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. So connecting the context to that verse, which is amazing thing. Thank you, Mataji. Yes. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. When they meet each other, they will talk. What is transmitted? Knowledge is transmitted. And this, they are talking about the Lord and his devotees and they relish that. And so two things happen when there is a proper devotee association. Transformation of knowledge and transmission of knowledge and transformation, right? Every day, little by little, we go on purifying ourselves. The more we hear, the more we connect with the devotees, our progress is faster. So remember that devotee association is so potent. Okay, so we'll go to the next verse, which is equally wonderful. Lots to learn in that as well. We are on the verse number 6 right here. Who's going to read?
Mataji, can I read?
Yes, please, ma'am.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
1.6.6.
Yes, yes.
एकत्मजा मे जननी योऽसिन् मुधा च किङ्करी मय्या आत्मजेनान्य गतौ चक्रे स्नेहानुबन्धनानाम्.
Okay,
Translation
the
by Srila
translation. Yeah.
Prabhupada.
Yeah.
I was the only son of my mother, who was not only a simple woman but a maid servant as well. Since I was her only offspring, she had no other alternative for protecting. She bound me with the tie of affection. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So here the crucial word in this verse is Narada Muni is telling he had no other shelter. He was the only son. Ekatmaja. I was the only son of my mother. They both had each other in this world, in this whole big world. All they had was each other, and they had no other shelter. Sometimes what happens if in the family there are the father is not there, but then some people have the shelter of bank balance, some people have shelter of money, some people have shelter of influence. Here Narada just didn't have anything, no other shelter. All he had was his mother. And he's saying, my mother tied me with the ropes of affection, sneha anubandhanam. So we're going to dive little deeper in this term and understand sneha anubandhanam kya hota hai. Affection, attraction. Sneha means what? Affection, love, right? Do you think it is good or bad? Tell me one thing. Give your honest replies. Is it good or bad?
Good, I
That
think.
seems to be like we are also doing the same thing. Like we are tying our kids with the mode of attraction, or what they say. We are tying our kids with more love and affection. I felt it's for us only. The same way
I
we are
said
doing.
this story is journey of each one of us. Yes, there's lots to learn. So yes, as Mataji says, स्नेह अनुबंधन. बंधन तो मतलब ही है कि जो पकड़ के रखता है आपको इधर इस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में. You're bound. But yes, let us understand Shastra. What does it say? Shastra says it is the nature of the soul to love and be loved. It is the very nature of the soul to be loved, love and be loved. So sneha is not wrong. Another thing is if I'm having consciousness, I am alive. I am not a dead stone, right? A dead stone, if it is carried by a very beautiful lady, it will have not get agitated. If that dead stone is carried by a small, sweet, innocent child, that dead stone doesn't get charmed by the beauty and innocence of the child. But we as humans who are living because of the consciousness being present, we have feelings, we have emotions, we have affection, we have love. So this is the nature of the soul. But where we are going wrong, Shastra again also says attachment will impede your spiritual progress. So let us understand what kind of attachment will impede our spiritual progress. Yes, as Mataji rightly said, we are also sailing in the same boat. हम सबको भी attachments है. बच्चों को हमारे साथ, हमें बच्चों के साथ, So let us understand it nicely. Rishabh Dev is instructing his 100 sons. There he is saying, attachment when it is to the matter, that is entangling. Getting me? This very attachment, but if we dovetail to the lotus feet of the Lord or to the saintly personalities, it opens the doors of liberation. Hope you all got me correct, or should I repeat it? Attachment to the matter will keep you bound. It is a cause of entanglement, suffering also. But this very attachment towards the saintly personalities or
Supreme
those,
Lord.
yes, so that will free you from the bondage. Let us understand again through a story of Bilva Mangal Thakur. I don't know how many of you know about his story. Bilva Mangal Thakur, in short, was a Brahmin son
Yes, ma'am.
with
Yes,
all the
Mataji.
good qualities. You all are aware of this whole story, right?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes,
He got
Okay,
involved with that prostitute.
absolutely. So fantastic. So I'll not narrate the whole thing. So
Krishna
the attachment,
Karnamritam.
Krishna
He has written
Karnamritas of scripture given
Karnamritam.
by.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So he was so attached to the prostitute, and that prostitute, when she tells you are attached to this bag of stool, pus, and mucus, instead of this, that same very attachment, because on a day of a storm, heavy storm, he didn't worry about his life. He sat on a dead corpse. He climbed up the house of that Chintamani prostitute holding a snake. He was so blinded. He just wanted to enjoy her. So she tells him, if that very attachment, you just going to attain perfection in this very birth, if you put this attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord, if you have same attachment for the Lord, you will have him in this very birth. These words really struck him, and the story goes long, but to cut it short, he's such an elevated personality. Chaurashtakam prayers we sing during Purushottam month, right? Such an exalted personality. He is actually an eternal associate of the Lord now. So we understood attachment to this body, to this matter will entangle us. But that if we attach ourselves to the, so what do we do with the family? Do we leave them? Oh, y'all are, I have to attach myself to the Lord. So you people will impede my progress to spiritual life? No. In the family, everybody should be a devotee. My wife, my husband, my children, if everybody is a devotee, we are having sneha anubandhana towards the devotee. What's the problem? We all sit together, pray together, read Bhagavatam, hear Bhagavatam, sing bhajans together. That is the best way. We don't have to give up our family life, but we have to just make everyone Krishna conscious. So that is the beauty of this whole thing. My spiritual master always says one thing. In this world, things are meant to be used and people are meant to be loved. But what happens? Opposite happens. Things are loved and people are used. When we try to love things, that is attachment, and that attachment will bind us. That attachment will be the cause of suffering because how long can you be attached to that? So this is how it is to be understood, that sneha anubandhana kahan karna hai, where we have His Holiness Radha Gobind Swami Maharaj, one very wonderful disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He was sharing in one of his lectures that his parents would always be in agony and pain because he and his brother had chosen, they were they finished their education, but they were not having jobs. And Maharaj had already decided not to marry also. So the mother will all the day say, Arey, tumko kaun khilayega? Who will feed you? The father would day in, day out be in anxiety and telling him. Maharaj is laughing and telling in the katha. Father would say, the minute I die, you people will be not having any food to eat. Huh? You all are just dependent on me and you all are not taking up work, you all are not marrying. So as long as we are there, we are maintaining you. So that is the illusion. We think in the family, I factor in the center. I am maintaining my children. I am providing for them. Yoga kshemam, that word is there. No, that I will be the maintainer, provider. If I am gone, they are going to suffer. So Maharaj was actually telling, today they are no more there, but today I have access to so many kitchens in this whole world. Wherever I go, everybody is begging, Maharaj, please come have Shad at our place. So this is how it is. Because of attachment, then we suffer and then we feel without us things won't work. That attitude is wrong. So that sneha bandhanam will cause you pain. It will cause you suffering. But if your attachment is for the Lord, the way Bilva Mangal Thakur showed us how he got attached to the Lord, his devotion was oozing. He was writing beautiful poems. So this we learn from here. Going back to the next verse. Who's going to read numbers 7 and 8? Doesn't have much to share. I'll put on 7. Any questions? Keep ready in your mind. Yeah. Who's going to read it?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Pranam Mataji.
Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Sashvadandrana kalpase yogakshamam mamechadi nishasya hi vashe logo yosha dharumai yada.
Yeah.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. She wanted to look after my maintenance properly. But because she was not independent, she was not able to do anything for me. The world is under the full control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, everyone is like a wooden doll in the hands of a puppet master. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. This is a very important verse. Ishasya hi vashe loko. What does it mean? Prior to that, second line says Yogakshemam. Now, Sindhu Mataji and others, anybody, Bhagavad Gita, what is Yogakshemam? Which is that verse?
Mataji, this one, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Kejana Paryupashate Tesha Nityapi Yuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham.
So, what does it mean? What does it say? The translation. What does
Means,
it say?
Mataji, I'm just vaguely telling. The Lord preserves what we have and provides what we lack.
What we don't have.
What we lack, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Sindhu Mataji. You are always the quiz winner of Bhagavad Gita. It's really nice.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, similarly, even Narada's mother here, she is feeling that I am not able to maintain. Every mother wants to maintain her child in a very nice way. But she, being a maid, she had not many facilities and she was unable. She's aswatantra is the word given there. And actually, in this world, no one is independent. We think we are independent, but we are not. Philosophy, Krishna is the only controller. He's the supreme controller. We are like puppets. That's what was given. Daru. Daru means wooden. Daru Brahma, no? For Jagannath we say. So we are like those wooden puppets. We dancing as per the will of the Lord. The strings are in his hands. So we understand that philosophically. हम बोलते रहते हैं, yeah, Krishna is the controller, nothing in my control. But do we accept that? Let us heart in hand on heart. But what do we feel? Karta ahamiti manyate. We always have that feeling. I am the doer. I can do this. I have done this. We love to take credits. So that is our sad plight. But ideally, we are only the puppets. Srila Prabhupada, when he was on Jaladuta's ship, when he was going to the west, there he has penned a beautiful poem where Srila Prabhupada is actually every minute feeling his dependence only on the Supreme Lord.
Oro Kripa Kailo Krishna Mataji.
Yes. Towards the end, he is saying, Nachao, Nachao, Prabhu, Nachao, Sei Mate, Kasthera Putali Jatha, Nachao, Sei Mate. Make me dance. I don't know why you have brought me here to this Ugra place, this terrible place you have brought me. If you so desire, they will receive and accept this knowledge which I have come to give them. You make me dance. I am just a Kasthera Putali means I am a wooden doll. The same thing which is given in this shloka, Prabhupada is feeling it from his heart. And he's saying, Kashtera Putali Jatha. Kashtera ki Putali, wooden puppet ke jasa mujhe nachao. Whatever, the way you make me dance, I am ready to dance. That was Prabhupada's surrender. So this we hear in this shloka also that everybody is a puppet and the original puppeteer is Lord Krishna. Directly or indirectly, Krishna is. Indirectly means when we are being under the control of Maya. Directly means when we are under the control of Maya. Devi is also an energy of the Lord. Okay. So even in Bhagavatam, when we see when Krishna wound up his leelas and he went back to the spiritual world, Arjuna was instructed to bring the wives of Lord Krishna safely to Hastinapur, because later on the Dwarka would be inundated under the waters. So that's when that very Arjuna, that Gandhivadhari Arjuna, who was so powerful Kshatriya, who had celestial weapons, he had a great lineage, Kunti Putra Arjun, that Arjun, now the same Gandiva which brought down Bhishma Dev, that Bhishma Dev who cannot be defeated even by Lord Parshuram, he just defeated Bhishma Dev by his Gandiva bow. That very Arjun, same powers, same Gandiva bow, but when he was bringing the queens to Hastinapur, on the way, some very insignificant covered men, they defeated him. So that's when Arjun is realizing that this power was given to me for certain time, and that mission was over, that Mahabharata war, that mission of the Lord is over, he has withdrawn that power. So this is what we are always to be contemplating and reminding ourselves and remembering that whatever XYZ facilities, powers, currently for a short period of time, that Lord has given us mercifully to be utilized in the service of the Lord and not take credit for that. Ultimately, it is Krishna who's the puppeteer. The way he wants to make us dance, we will dance. We will have to go through. Now, this time Arjuna went through great embarrassment. He couldn't protect the queens. At the hands of ordinary coward men, he got defeated. So this is how it is. Whatever strings Krishna will pull, sometimes honor, dishonor, the happiness, sorrow, everything is under the control of the Supreme Lord. So this we understand from this verse, and now we go to the final verse of the day. Who's going to read? Last verse, please. Show your
Hare Krishna
enthusiasm.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Aham cha tad brahma kule usivan cha tadupeksha digdisha khalabhyappanno balakah panchahayanah.
Prabhuji, translate.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When I was a mere child of 5 years, I lived in a Brahman school. I was dependent on my mother's affection and had no experience of different lands. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you. So this verse doesn't have anything much to explain in that, except it is telling that how helpless, how innocent Narad as a 5-year-old boy was, and he was fully dependent on his mother, and he had absolutely no experience of the outside world. So basically, in this entire and pastime will continue further. Tomorrow, another speaker will enlighten that how in this journey of perfection, there were many dualities. How from Upabarna, he's cursed and he's becoming the maid servant. From maid servant, now he's attaining the getting the association. As Upabarna, he had no appreciation for the holy name, right? But when he is a maid servant, nothing, no material opulence or anything is available to him. But he got the highest mercy at that time. Actually, if we see from the eyes of Shastras, this birth, he got the highest blessings, boon, mercy. Why? Because he got the association of the saintly people. He got to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from their lotus lips, and he remained fixed. There were many. Tomorrow's speaker will explain that how many difficulties came in his way, but he was steadfast in his devotion. And in one lifetime, he has attained the perfection. So, which is very inspiring for all of us, a great learning lessons that one time somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can we go back home, back to Godhead in one lifetime? Prabhupada looked at him gravely and said, yes, of course. So he says, in human form of birth, in human form of life, one should really strive hard and attain perfection. So with that, we close. I think there were a lot of beautiful learning lessons in these verses. We learned about Sneha Anubandhanam. We learned about how we are puppets in the hands of the Supreme Lord. So thank you all for your patient listening. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams to each one. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha, kripa sindhubhya evacha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Vaishnavebhyo namo
Any
namaha.
inquiries, any comments, any Any questions? Feel free, please. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Or you
Hare
all want
Krishna,
to add any comment, add any points? You all can add.
wonderful class, Mataji. We have learned so many things from this class today. Thank you so much.
Yes,
All glories
Mataji.
to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. One time
Thank
it
you,
was even
Mataji. Hare
asked in one of
Krishna.
the conversations of Srila Prabhupada, one of his disciples told Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, we are puppets in your hand because we're ready to do anything for you. Whatever Prabhupada told, no, you're not puppets in my hand. I am also a puppet in the hands of my spiritual master. So everybody, the success depends on we accepting as puppets to the predecessor acharyas. So suppose something what you felt good in this today's class, the glories are to the predecessor acharyas. So this is really important. That's the reason we have the invocation prayers. We seek their blessings, and this knowledge is passed on in that from these acharyas. So all glories to them. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Every
Mataji. Hare
morning,
Thank you
Krishna,
so much for
Mataji.
this
Krishna.
enlightening
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
session.
Thank you.
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Mataji.